Hey kids, this is Ivan. How you doing? Today I want to talk to you about, well, kind of a movie, but not really. I recently watched the 2011 version of Three Musketeers on Netflix. I think it just got on Netflix, actually. Not sure, but I hadn't seen it before. And, I misspoke recently in one of the videos. I talked about making a character for All for One Regime Diabolique. I talked about watching the beginning of the 2011 version. It turned out it was a different version. I'm not sure which one. However, that one with Tim Curry in it. Which looked much worse. But anyhow, I watched this one recently. It was, at the Red Cross, so I got to watch a movie. And anyhow, it was pretty neat. It was a kind of a cute movie. It was a little corny. It was a little over the top at times, so it had a little bit of the anachronisms in it with the airships, kind of like a merging. Sorry if I spoil that for you, but a little merging of the All for One game with the Leagues of Adventure, with that kind of little anachronism in there. But this really isn't about that at all. It's about the lackey. And, in the games, both All for One and Leagues of Adventure by Triple Ace, one of the important things about your character is you have a lackey. And, this really makes a lot of sense in the Three Musketeers type, the All for One game, which I'm going to be playing in soon, because Musketeers have a lackey. That's part of the shtick. And I'm, no stranger to playing in games where there are henchmen. One of the neat things about these Triple Ace games is when you have a lackey, another player rather, plays your lackey, so you're not in the bizarre position of talking to yourself. So I think that's kind of neat. I've had some videos on troop style play. It'd be kind of neat to go play your lackey by their lonesome as well. However, different topic. What I liked about this movie was, the Three Musketeers live in, this little, hovel, for lack of a better term, with their one lackey, and I can't remember his name off the top of my head. Couldn't tell you who the actor was. Couldn't tell you the character's name. But that lackey was great. He had a personality breathed into him, which was fantastic. So he was both deferential and subservient, and also a little saucy as well. And I just enjoyed the fact that they really fleshed him out and made him a fun character in that movie. And so, this ushers in the thought to me that, we ought to do that with our henchmen and our lackeys. I'm certainly looking forward to, fleshing out the lackeys in this game and making them like actual fun characters. They may not be the main focus of attention, but who cares? They ought to be fun. And in any game where you have henchmen, I've certainly been guilty of kind of having flat henchmen that were just simply a stat block or just a guy. But I've also had the experience of both myself and other players kind of fleshing out our henchmen and making them kind of interesting. And in many cases, the person never lost their first character, but the henchman was always kind of a bit fun. They had a little extra pizzazz going on. And so, just in general, this is kind of like a little plug for doing that. If you're playing in a game where you have a henchman or a retainer or a lackey, why not make them interesting? Why not let another, even if the game system doesn't call for it, like something like, D&D, Lamentations of the Flame Princess is pretty silent on what, who plays your henchman. And I've always said, my default method is, okay, you as a player play your henchman as well, and the game master has kind of like veto power when you say they do something like really stupid, get in harm's way for you. That's not cool. But why not have another player play your henchman, breathe a little life into them where you're not talking to yourself, and they can do the unexpected. So yeah, I just really enjoyed, what they did for that, character that could have been just flat and in the background with no personality at all. How in that movie they really made him come to life. Did he have a lot of spotlight time, so to speak? No. But when he did, it was awesome, And so I would encourage, you and myself to do that with our henchmen and lackeys in role-playing games. The end.